mind control really starts when we look at what the full system is. It's summed up by one word: democracy. What is a democracy? The Merriam-Webster Dictionary defines it as government by the people. Rule of the majority, or government in which the supreme power is vested in the people and exercised by them directly or indirectly through a system of representation, usually involving periodically held free elections. Democracy is a government that is run by the people. And this is the actual mind control. Those that really run this world need the majority population to believe that they are really in control collectively, and that the way that they exercise their power is by voting. That is the mind control. Now, before we examine why that is mind control, let's go back and look at the world before this mind control way of thinking. So let's go back in time to the world before this mental barrier of democracy really took hold. Democracy is not new. Democracy can be traced back to ancient Greece in the 5th century BC. But I don't want to go too deep into that, as saying that the idea is not a new one. The difference where I want to explain is where the power normally was. In the ancient world, during the times of the Bible, power was held in the hands of a small few. They were kings, queens, and emperors. This was a government run by an absolute power, what we would call a monarchy. Power was able to be seen clearly as to who was in control and who wielded that control. An absolute ruler may be accepted because the people believe or accept the idea that God gave him or her the right to rule. This belief is known as divine right, which often has been associated with a monarchy, a form of government in which the power of the king or queen is hereditary. What I am explaining is that this was the most common form of government that the world has known. I won't go too deep, but there have been those that have been given a right to rule by the God of this world, little g, in order to move the world towards this new world order that they have been desiring ever since the fall of the first Babylon. These are those that have bore the mark of king, but that's another subject. The point is that this was the most known form of government. It was a seen hand of control rather than the unseen hand that we have today. This was the form of government we see all throughout the times of the Bible, especially during the times of the New Testament, when Yeshua walked the earth. The known world was run under the run of Caesar, the emperor. You see, we were subject to the rule of these earthly leaders, but we were never supposed to give our hearts to them. Our hearts always belong to Yahweh, our Creator. Like Yeshua said in Mark chapter 12, when the Pharisees tried to catch him up, he said, "Render to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and to Elohim the things that are Elohim's." And they marveled at him. The people of the world knew, a government run by a small chosen few. But let's not linger on that. Let's go back to the Matrix. What is it again? It's a world that has been made to purposely deceive you, while at the same time it influences you to contribute satanic energy to help establish a new world order. In order for this new world order to be implemented, it cannot come by force. You see, the devil is not trying to be like the Most High by force, but by strategically turning the world's hearts over to him and his ways. A big part of implementing this had to come with empowering the people. He gave them the illusion of power so that they felt that they had control. You see, if the world felt that they were being pushed into this new world order, they would rebel against it, and this prophecy would not be fulfilled. In his power grab on the people, the Satan created a system in which the people felt that they had a say, that their voice matters, and that through exercising their voice, they are able to create the world that they want. When you think about the manipulation, the scheme is actually very well played. You don't force people with a hard hand or violence to submit to your will, but you give them a voice, some stake in the game, and make them feel a part of the system. Then they will actively care for it. And that is what the agenda or scheme is that has been carried out in this matrix. Give people a feeling of control and then lead them into making the decisions that you want them to make. What I find ironic and manipulative is that while the devil is using this soft approach to bringing the masses into this new world, he used a heavy, hard hand when he infiltrated the church and started spreading his version of Christianity around the world through the Holy Roman Empire. He used Elohim's word in a get-down, lay-down approach, making people submit to the Bible through fear and coercion that had very negative effects on the church over world history. So, in this peeling back of the onion of the Matrix, we see that in order to create this new world order, Satan and his minions have given the illusion of rule and power to the people, in which the people feel that they are building this new world order themselves, and were not coerced by an ultimate power. So, we are taught that in order to change the world that we live in, we are to do it by exercising our voices. And we are taught that our voice is our vote that we cast. And this is the mind control that we see that was embedded in the American society, definitely from the oldest generation, the Great Depression babies, and their children, who we know as the baby boomer generation. They have been overly programmed to believe in this system. Now, don't get me wrong, this system that they created comes with benefits that we are able to use. Like, without this system, videos like this wouldn't be able to even exist. Try to make content in China that speaks against the Chinese government and see where that lands you. There is a freedom to do certain things that doesn't exist in those other forms of government that has taken the power out of the hands of the people. this comes with a double-edged sword, because the same laws that are used to promote our rights are the same laws that are used to change what is accepted in this world and bring about more liberal agendas that were never accepted. You see, the purpose of democracy is not simply putting the power in people's hands and giving them freedom. It's actually about taking the power out of Yah's hand, our Creator.
Some people have a deep, abiding respect for the natural beauty that was once this country. And some people don't. People start pollution. People can stop it. Write for Pollution Booklet, Box 1771, Radio City Station, New York.
Stop